Welcome back to the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Walter Murillo, and I get the pleasure to hang out with the one and only Liz Faircloth from Investher. Liz, welcome back. How are you?
Good. How you doing? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Very good. So I had to have you on because Investher CON is coming up. This is a conference designed for real estate investors who are women who are looking to level up against the next level. And the reason I remembered is Dorina texted me. She said, babe, I'm going to North Carolina in 10 days. Make sure that everything is prepared. And I was like, what is in North Carolina in 10 days that I'm not going to? So Liz, what is happening at Investher conference this year?
Yeah, really excited. So we've actually, this is our third conference. Well, the first one we did was 2 years ago during COVID, and it was virtual, just like everything was happening then was virtual. And we had speakers. It was wonderful. But, our community has been around for 4 years, but we empower women to live a financially free and balanced life. Right. And our passion is to create an intimate global platform for women to give and get what they need so that they can create the wealth they want and need on their own terms. And so everything that we do, we kind of pour into that mission, that passion. And so we did a yearly event 2 years ago. We did our next one last year, which was great. And we kind of said, okay, if we are going to have it in person next year and same time, June. So that's what we planned for. That's what we're doing. So yeah, it's our goal is to transform women's lives. So they literally come out differently. Not differently because of anything we learn or someone we talk to, but really the best coming out in us as women, as investors, both on self-care, business, and obviously core investing. So our goal is really to literally transform women's lives as a result of being there in those 2 days. How we're going to do that? Lots of things. We've looked at every detail. I mean, Walter, it's like crazy amount of detail that goes into these conferences, but we have 5 keynotes. We have Kim Kiyosaki talking about that, you have to talk about more your own economy versus really leaning into the economy that's out there. So she's
Hold on, you got Kim Kiyosaki as in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kim Kiyosaki. Like
correct. And she leads
the queen of silver and gold and real estate. And
correct. And she's amazing. I mean, honestly, we've been on the Rich Dad show. She's been on our show. We've had a number of conversations. She even texted us a couple of weeks ago and said, do you have a few minutes on a Saturday? And Justin and I are like, sure, we'll make time for Kim Kiyosaki. And her whole purpose in connecting with us, totally not with any assistance, just the 3 of us. She's just like, listen, I really want to give as much most value to the women there. So how about I do another session where I'm going to talk about an 18 unit and what I look for, is this a good deal, bad deal? So she's doing a workshop, she's speaking, she's going to be at the lunch Q&A. Like she's just absolutely amazing. I liked her before, but her interest in serving the women there is just like so amazing. I really am just pumped about her. Beyond Kim, we have 4 other keynotes. We have Kathy Fecky, who's going to really talk about what does real wealth look like. We have Shannon Waller from the strategic coach team, who Dan Sullivan, big time strategic coach leader, and they Who Not How, Gap in the Gain, bunch of New York Times best-selling books. She's going to talk about how do you 10x your business without more effort. So we have a lot of speakers, not just talking about investing, real estate investing, but also how do you build the business you love and also do it in a way that works for you in your life? Because women and men have a lot on their plates, and we all can just create another job for ourselves. So
and Liz,
we don't want that. That's not why we get into investing.
I want to go back to kind of why you set this up, like why you started Investher, like where you came from, what you were seeing in the marketplace. It's not, I don't think it's a secret. Even me as a man, I can see this. Like there are women out there who are being taken advantage of, or they're in situations that they don't want to be in, and it's a lot of it is financial. Like if they just had a little money, like just anything, they would be making different choices. So how did you get started? How did Investher come into being?
What's really interesting is that I wrote a business plan 20 years ago. I took a course in grad school. I was getting my degree in social work, and I wrote it. I met a bunch of women through my field placements. I was getting my degree in social work that had emotional abuse, physical abuse. They were in very toxic relationships, and I was so that like this passion was ignited in me as a 20 year-old. And I said, wow, wouldn't it be so phenomenal? And I took a course on entrepreneurship at the same time while I was getting my degree in social work. And I wrote a business plan to create a women's center. And the women's center would basically give support in a community aspect to the women who had these different situations happen. And because I met so many of them, and I was so like moved by meeting what they've been through and how they've been through it, and the importance at that point, not so much the financial, but just the basic needs, right? And I put that away, Walter. I put that away, and then 20 years later, I came together with my good friend Andres. I've always had this passion, even in my corporate life, serving women. It's always been in my life, really. I've always been kind of drawn to serving women on different capacities. And so we came together, and we would be looking around doing projects together and say, where are the other women in this business, and how can we support each other? And we didn't see a lot of the communities out there. Now
you're talking about real estate. You're talking about the real estate business. Like,
yes. Yeah.
This house's stuff.
Yeah. Just to be able to share like wins, losses. Her and I would get together, but we're like, wouldn't it be neat to create an environment where women can really give and get and really be each other's cheerleaders? And also simultaneously create the wealth we all want and seek on our own terms, because there are women who are in toxic relationships. There are women who financially stay right in the household because they can't make, they just are, they're forced to do that. So, and then there's other women who don't want to stay at the W-2 anymore. So it's a spectrum, right? Of why, but there is a need, there's a social responsibility to create financial freedom for women, so that the kids and the families are impacted, right? I believe. So that's how right? That's probably how we share such a.
This is why we connect. So that's how you get started. We know kind of what's going on at the event at Investor Conference. By the way, if somebody's listening right now and they don't have tickets, Dorina will be there. So if you want to hang with Dorina, my foundation, a millionaire through real estate, they didn't use me. She was a millionaire before we connected and built it herself. She'll be at the conference hanging out to see Liz. And if you haven't learned enough about real estate and you got a spouse that you think would really benefit, and I think a lot of the times, like as guys and real estate investors, we're doing all this personal development, but our spouse is kind of not feeling like she belongs. I think that this is a great event to send her to so that she can build her own tribe and kind of get that celebrity. Now you mentioned Liz, like the need for, if somebody doesn't have financial freedom, like that's important. If somebody's in a situation where like the money really would help them get into a much better situation, like that's important. And now women like Dorina, who are already successful real estate
and
investors,
that's a big amount of women. So sorry.
Yeah. Why would they go? Like my tribe, right? Why is my tribe going?
The majority of our members, a lot of women who are also in our community have a portfolio, right? They have maybe 5 to 20 deals. And, as we all come to learn, we start to become like a slave to those deals. And I know that because that's, we've navigated, how do you build a team? How do you build processes? How do you build the business beyond yourself? And that's also who's going to be there. And that's what this is also for, because, we all can buy a property, we all can buy a bunch of properties. But then how do you do it in a way that works for your life? How do you streamline it? How do you really create not just an investment portfolio, but a business that works for you? You don't, work for it. Of course, you're going to manage it. And of course, you're going to make it better. If anyone says that passive income takes no effort, then that's ridiculous. Of course, it takes a ton of effort, but how much effort? And is it the smart effort? It's not passive. You have to put energy and effort into it. But what does that look like? And what processes, team are you building? So we're going to talk a lot about how do you step out and not be that solopreneur, but truly be that entrepreneur. So a lot of our sessions are around that business mindset as well, because that's where the freedom comes in, right? It's not the calls you're getting from tenants or the calls you're getting from contractors or the doing. So people like jump in because they think it's going to be this amazing, business of freedom. And they little do they know the freedom that they yearn is not even around them. They're now like a slave to their properties, right?
Because they built it the wrong way. Like they want the money, but you also want the free time. And that comes from building the right systems. So you'll be delivering some of that. And I actually know personally some of the speakers you're going to be having. So I've had you on the podcast for this like boost podcast is because the event is worth going to. By the way, everybody who's paying attention right now, if you're interested, go to the link. Actually, Liz, can you say the link again?
Sure.
This is a long link. Pay attention to this.
It's the real estate invest her, HER.com/invest her con. And if you just go to our website, the real estate invest her.com, it's literally right there on the homepage. Just click on learn more.
Awesome. And so for everybody who's like wondering, like, how do we build these systems? Sandhya Seshadri is going to be at this event. She's going to be speaking. She is a syndicator. She's a woman who does real estate syndication. She does big deals. She is not picking up the hammer. She's not swinging nails into the ground. Like, she's just pick up the phone, make money. This chick is a boss. How'd you get Sandhya on?
Yeah, what's really cool because we 250 episodes later, with regards to our podcast and our meetups, we have the pleasure of connecting with a lot of women. So we literally handpicked every speaker because we know them personally, and we know beyond our keynotes, we knew that they are, they're going to share not just knowledge, but tips and strategies, and they're giving with their mind and their heart. And that's not always the case for it's actually the case for a lot of women. But that was a characteristic we wanted to see, where women are they want to support, they want to help. It's not all about them, and they have something useful to share. We have Corinne, who I know you're not familiar with, but she's going to be talking about self-storage. She's built up a very successful business of syndicating self-storage facilities. We have Ashley Wilson, who's the author of The Only Woman in the Room. She's going to be talking about her syndication business as well. More importantly, how to invest out of state and how to do it in a way that works for your lifestyle. We have Palak Shah, who's also part of our book here. She has really built her business around the BRRRR method and, buying and renovating, and how she's been able to do that. We have another woman, Janelle, talking about how to buy your first rental property in the first 90 days. So we have very tactical sessions, but like how-to sessions, and women who are literally doing that as well, and not doing it 10 years ago, but like doing it today. They literally been all handpicked. These aren't just random women, and we just shot out a big, blanket email to a bunch of women we didn't know.
Liz, I'm going to order my wig and dress right now, because this event, you've got me drooling.
Now you can come. Honestly, we have some husbands and spouses coming, so there will be some men in the audience. Obviously, it's geared towards women, but we'll not say no to you, my friend, and we can't do that. So I want to encourage, if there are men allies who especially want to attend with their partner, or really want to be a fly on the wall, we welcome you. But obviously, who this is for, obviously, and then there'll be a sense of that. So, but I will certainly know that there are some men coming.
Okay, because I'm listening. I'm like, a lot of these women have been on the podcast, and they're like powerhouses. Like another one I was looking is you got Yulia is coming on. Pili Urisa is coming on.
She's going to be Pili's great. I've known Pili a long time, and she's she's grew such a neat business from flipping to now multis to syndicating, and her and her husband do so much great work in that space as well, and they've navigated different markets. So I love Pili. She's going to be on one of our panels. So we'll have 3 panels as well. So we have breakouts, we have keynotes, we have everything. And the panels we took the most kind of important, topical things. So one's gonna be on short-term rentals. We have 3 powerhouse women, Avery Carl, who wrote the book on short-term rentals, published by Bigger Pockets. She's going to be, and she's one of our sponsors. She's just a big supporter of our work. Her and Ziona and Sarah Weaver, all women in the short-term rental space, talking about different things. But the key with this too, Walter, to be honest with you, with regards to our panels, is the stuff that women haven't talked about before. Literally how we are going to be presenting, the women on our panels are presenting. We just don't want to talk about the same crap anymore. So these are going to be questions not like, how do you find a short-term rental? You can go Google that. Now, that's not what we're going to talk about. It's going to be, it's going to take the topics, but with a different light, with a unique light that women haven't heard before. If we're going to put a conference on, that's the least we can do, right? Yeah. Rather than regurgitating the same information that literally you can just find somewhere else. so we've been really mindful of that. Kathy Fekke always talks about, or traditionally talks about the economy. She's gives such great data around the economy. We're not having her talk about that here. She's going to talk about what real wealth looks like to her, because she's built a beautiful life for herself. That's what women want to hear. She's like, wow, I've never talked about this before at a conference. So that's the kind of approach we've taken, is what can we share about the topic, short-term rentals, moving from solopreneur to entrepreneur. And then the third panel is about leveraging collective genius. And we have amazing women on these panels. All of them could be talking solo, but regardless, it's all about what haven't women heard before, rather than the same old stuff. Cause that's boring. We want to hear something different. So.
Yeah. How do you make this event? I can tell, like, every event has a focus question. And it sounds like the focus question for you is, how do you make this the most impactful, valuable event for women this year? Now, Doreena's been traveling the country. She's been going to all these different events for women. It's focused on real estate, focused on success. But this is the event she's most excited about because of you and because of the lineup you have. And because you just recently donated a course to Alchemist Nation. So we now have a course called Empowering Women by Liz Faircloth for all members. If you are considering going to Investher, all you have to do is have a wife who's investing in real estate. It turns out she will allow men in as long as your wife is there with you. So I may be booking my flights as well. This is Liz. This was worth it for me alone.
And I also want to say we have some amazing companies sponsoring the event. And you know how often this goes with sponsors, where people just sponsor. I have personally, me or my team have personally interviewed every company that wanted to sponsor. Now, I haven't used all their products and services, but I can tell you we've had multiple conversations with these companies, because I also wanted to create a space where there's these real resources that women need and want. Whether it's the lender that, there's something hairy about the deal. How do you find those lenders that are willing to get creative with you, or it's the CRM that's just going to make your life easier, which I wish I had when I started. Or it's the attorney who focuses on syndication, because you know what? You need an attorney if you're going to get into syndication who focuses on attorney. So we've literally, and I've spoken to all of them, that was a lot of my energy of making sure we get the right sponsors, not just to pay us a fee, but how do we create the right resources?
Anybody who's never set up an event, let me just say, like, when you say you're doing an event of this size, suddenly your inbox is full of people saying, hey, I want to speak. Hey, I want to speak. Hey, I want to speak. Hey, I'll pay to be at the event. I want to be a sponsor. And you just, like, we literally at the 100 million or something, like, dude, I have all the partnerships already. I said no to dozens of people. So for you to go through it and like handpick, I get it. That is a lot of work. And I totally respect the way you went through and did that.
But they're going to be great. I'm excited about the companies that are going to be there too. So we're going to.
One thing I talk about a lot with success is mindset. Will you be addressing the mindset that a woman has to go through in order to believe in themselves to get that first deal? Is there going to be some talks about that? Usually, like somebody who's done some big stuff will come in and talk about mindset. Who do you have going into that component?
Yeah. So we were going to originally like have tracks like mindset / self-care, investing, and like business, because those are our three pillars. That's literally what we do. Our minisodes, our podcasts, and any content we create, we always have those three pillars. Investing being the base, but then how do you really improve that is being able to run the business that you want and do it in a way that works for your life, and that you don't kill yourself, because that's a theme for at least a lot of the women in our community. So we didn't do it in that sense, but we do have women coming to talk. A couple of our keynotes, Evie, she's a real big thought leader. She's got over 1 million followers on Instagram. She does a lot of different things in business and what have you. And she's going to be talking about how to find your voice and speak your truth. And that to me is mindset, because mindset, how do we shift things in our mind is how do we speak to ourselves? And sometimes, I don't know about you, but I could be my biggest fan and I could be like literally my worst enemy, and I wonder why I have those tough days, because we all go through it, right? I'm positive, but I don't have days that are positive. Last week, I thought I was going to Andressa had to talk me off the ledge, but that's life.
You're 9 days out from an event.
Yeah.
You may have a few not so positive days.
I'm going to have, exactly. It's not all roses and sunshine. And we don't have a community that we even want women to think that that's even the expectation. This is not Facebook. This is not like Oh, I have an amazing life. Well, yeah, we do. I do have an amazing life, but I have some really tough days and I have some tough things that happen, and that's real. So how do you speak in a way that supports you in your business and your life? Well, that's what she's going to be talking about. And that's one of our keynotes too. So, and then we have a number of other mindset, obviously Shannon Waller. But honestly, a lot of the women speaking about whether it's self-storage or, we really kind of share with them our three pillars. And I know they'll be tying in, a lot of, a lot of that piece. When we're going to be doing a very kind of retreat-like exercise at the beginning. And so it's not going to just be, and you and I share this, where people just go to a conference. There's just like rows, people are in, they're out, they're on their computers. I'm going to call people out. And that's me, a lot of people, maybe 400 people there. I'll be looking in that room. I'm like, listen, you took 2 days to be here. You invested in yourself. Put your phone away. Like, I know I'll have to call people out, and I'm not a very direct person, but I know that that's going to happen, so that people really give them that permission to be there. We're going to be meditating with the women, closing eyes, journaling, pairing and sharing. So as much as it's going to be a big event, we're going to really make it as much as close to a feeling of retreat-like as we can. So
yeah, that's what you said before the call, is like, this is, even though it's 2 days, the idea is this is probably the 2 days that women have gone away from their kids, so this is
correct.
Like a real big deal. You can't just give them information. You've got to, allow them time to really, coalesce and communicate with each other and meet and connect. And like, I'm glad you said it, because that's the whole reason we do live events. I'm an introvert. So for me, I'm like, I got all the love of my community that I could possibly stand via Zoom. But I've found that the partnerships is when they get into the room. Like when you get into a conference, when you go to this event, like it's going to be the woman that you meet. You don't need all of them. It's just going to be that one woman you connect with, right, who's going to partner with you. Like Liz, you have a partner, right? Like Investher, you have a partner. And without her, you probably wouldn't have as many good days as you have, right? Like you're having a bad day, she pulls you up.
Investher CON would not be happening if it wasn't for Andressa. I don't think that the scale of conference is something that she's been at the helm of it, leading it. So I'm forever grateful for our partnership and what we both bring to the table, of course. And I bring a lot to the table, but I don't know if the Investher CON would be happening without her.
And so this is the event. If you're looking to level up this year, this is the one you go to right now. Now, there are other events coming up throughout the year, and I'll talk about those when it's important. But right now, there is nothing more important in the world than getting yourself and your wife or your husband to Investher's conference right now. The date is
June 23rd, 24th. Yeah, coming up.
One more time. That is June. Say it again.
23rd and 24th. I'll even say this: going into the bathroom at the conference will be an experience.
Oh,
so I mean,
now, do we get that same experience in the men's room, or is this girls only?
No, just women's only. But we're even gonna have a mom's room, Walter. So many times, women who are nursing, breastfeeding, it's a show where you have to go and how, not, and whatever works for your lifestyle. Some women are very comfortable doing it, in public. That's awesome. Other women want like a private place just to have some quiet time, and whatever works for whatever works for you. But we wanted to create a space for women to have some space, some room. And we have that kind of room identified. And I'm excited by that, with some snacks and some things, just the touches to make it feel like this is truly a women's conference. I mean, when I tell you the amount of touches like that, I can keep going. So we've really poured a lot into this, and a lot of our energy, a lot of our team, a lot of our resources. So I can promise women are going to leave different. I don't know how and when, I can't tell that, but I just know from our intentionality of it and the planning aspect of it, I can guarantee that. That's how confident I am of what we're doing. So I'm pretty excited. I get emotional as I think about it too, but I want to really help women and help them together, not like you need to listen to one expert. This is a collective expertise. So I'm really excited.
I love the way you've built the whole brand. This is not the Liz Faircloth show. This is Invest Her. It's about your avatar, your woman who is out there, who's just looking for a little more, looking for that chance, looking for that one person, just, reach out their hand and say, hey, look, you can do this. Here's how you do it. Like, it's not as scary as you think. Let's just go one thing at a time. Ask me any questions. The whole Invest Her community, the way you've built it is just, it's really like a home. It's a place for people to be safe.
I'll tell you this too. What's interesting is the power of visualization. I mean, honestly, if you get nothing else out of this and you don't come to Investor CON, which you totally should, the power of visualization is got to be one of the most amazing strategies to do to really get what you want. And Andres and I, when we started Investor 4 years ago, we talked about the power of a circle. And we said, we don't want to create a community that her and I were like here, and then everyone was listening to us. We visualized this circle. And now 4 years later, our first in-person conference, we have 400 people coming, and that is the theme. But that theme was born 4 years ago when literally no one knew what we were doing. No one cared. It was an idea between me and Andressa. And now, I get emotional because it's pretty cool how visualization works, and it's neat. So it's full circle. And that's our theme of our conference, is what we started with. We want to create circles of women supporting each other.
So powerful. Liz, I'm going to ask you one question I ask for everybody before we jump off. And I just want to say, before I ask that question, my mission to build 100 millionaires, inspire to build 100 millionaires, is the same exact thing. I see it now, and we've built 100 millionaires, and now I'm supporting 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. And I look at you as one of those women that I want to support because I see you doing it. Same with the National RIA. I'll be speaking next week. Like, these are men and women who have dedicated their lives, like big parts of their lives, to making sure people are successful. And I would say what you have built is on par with the RIA, like on par with the National RIA. Like you've done it in a way that is super like safe and inviting for women. And I'm 100%, I back you guys all the way from the bottom of my heart. Now I ask this question to everybody when they're on the podcast. So since we're doing it, Liz, if you could go back in time to 20-year-old Liz Faircloth and give yourself 3 pieces of advice, what would be the 3 most impactful pieces of advice for a 20-year-old woman who's just getting started in life and doesn't really know what she wants to be or do? What 3 pieces of advice would you give yourself to get yourself here, happier, more successful, and feeling better about life? What would those 3 pieces be?
So in other words, what are the lessons that have taken me the longest to learn? That's what I heard you say. One, just stop being a rugged individualist. You stop trying to do stuff yourself. And I think had I, tried to let go more earlier, and not had the excuse of having to pay someone or whatever the excuse was, I just think I could do it quicker. Why I really need somebody. That's been probably one of the toughest lessons for me, is really building a team. And not just because I don't know how to do it, but it's just the letting go. So I wish I wish we did that sooner. Me and my husband, and then even me and Andressa, we ended up editing 100 episodes, me and her. 100's a lot. I mean, I wrote all the show notes, she edited them, but we did that for 100. Some people do it for 10, or, we did it for 100. So just to give you but we've learned our lessons, and we're growing our team and getting out of our own way. Right. So, I think I wish I told myself that as a 20-year-old. I think I would have told myself to give myself more grace. I think I'm not the only woman that beats herself up, or person, thinking they can do something differently, or you compare yourself, or I think just giving myself some grace, and just saying, you got this, give yourself some grace, surrender. It's all going to work out. I think that would have been great advice to give myself. Third one, I would say, enjoy the process. I say this a lot. I think I was sharing something on content about enduring something versus enjoying something. Right. And so often I'm even just trying to enjoy the last couple of weeks. I want to enjoy every moment of this conference that we've worked our tails off for, right? Invested time, money. I mean, the contract we had to sign, right? To sign with the West End, that was a big deal for us. That was a big leap of faith, right? Is anyone going to come? Is this going to work? Are we going to be the whole that amount of money? So I just say that because I think the idea of trusting yourself, as well as, the other pieces that I've shared, I think, is so important and key. So that's the advice I'd give myself.
Liz, you are amazing. You are an alchemist. To define for everybody who's listening, you've heard me say it before, an alchemist is somebody who transforms themselves so they can transform others. We're so blessed and thankful to have you as a part of Alchemist Nation on the mission to build 100 millionaires, inspire to build 100 millionaires. And for everybody who's listening right now, register for Real Estate Investor Conference. Go to realestateinvestor.com, click the button for the Investor Con, and I will be dropping this video everywhere. I won't drop a link on Facebook or YouTube because they don't like links. But if you're watching us on either one of those platforms, send me a direct message. I will send you the link. I promise. Liz Faircloth, thank you so much. If there was one last sentence, could you let us know again the date of the event?
Yeah, June 23rd and 24th. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's at the Westin. So it's really easy, 15 minutes from the airport. Yeah, and there's going to be a meetup as we kind of kick it off. It's going to be actually a meetup by Bigger Pockets is having a big meetup there as well at one of the breweries. So we're actually doing registration there. So definitely check that out. Bigger Pockets has been a phenomenal support for us as well. They're one of our sponsors and they publish our podcast. So check that out. Check us out. Come join us. Play in the arena, we like to say. And we commit, we'll do everything we can to support you.
Awesome. Thank you. So for everybody who's coming, share, like, subscribe, go add Liz, add her speakers. Cheers to your success. You have a choice. Always work with the best. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much.